up, everyone? Let's get straight into it. I'm super hyped to talk about Sableye. Super underrated mon. A lot of people love Sableye, but I feel like he still gets kind of overshadowed sometimes. So I gave them incredible buffs. But before you freak out, if you're new here and you're looking at these buffs, you're like, what the fuck? Oh my god, it's so broken. I don't blame you for thinking that just looking at it. But what you need to, gosh, what am I trying to say? Context is important, okay? If you're new here, of course. Obviously, if you're a returning viewer, you can honestly just skip ahead like a minute or two and get in, until you start hearing me talk about the new stuff. But basically, the power levels on this hack are extremely high, to the point where something like this is really not crazy at all. It's very par for the course. It's very good. It's very tanky, as you'll see in a second, but nonetheless, it's still really good. So another important thing in this hack is that Pokemon with Mega Evolutions, the Megas are reworked to the point where you don't need to Mega Evolve them for them to be good. They are very good Pokemon without the Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution is incredible, but they function very differently usually, or at the very least, the Mega with an item, the non-Mega with an item, has genuine niches and uses over the Mega with the Mega Stone. In this case, they function like two completely different Pokemon, so you would be using them for different purposes entirely. Not entirely, but they are very different, so base Sableye is still incredible even once you get to Sable Knight. It's still great to have base Sableye in game. But they have a bunch of new abilities. They do keep Prankster into Magic Bounce. Prankster is obviously great. I'll get into all the options he has for that. And Magic Bounce is obviously great, and I'll get into why that's great in a little bit. But as for new abilities, Sableye has access to Tinted Lens, which I think is a very fitting ability given that he literally has diamonds for eyes, or gems for eyes rather. And I also think it's really cool, and I had to pick an ability. Basically, I was in in this hack, I have to balance things to bounce off of one another, and there are, I believe, 3 other Ghost Dark Pokemon in this hack. There's Spiritomb, and there's 1 new Ghost Dark Pokemon, and I had to balance it so that they don't overlap with one another. Otherwise, I would have given Sableye, Sinister or something. But spoiler alert, one of those 2 Ghost Dark Pokemon will have Sinister. It's gonna be super sick, but not Sableye. I don't think it fits Sableye that much. It still fits him, but I prefer it on the other one, or one of the other ones. Doesn't mean that Tinted Lens is a bad ability. It's fucking insane. I love Tinted Lens as an ability. It's amazing, especially with your priority moves. So Tinted Lens plus Spook, which is special. So basically you have Night Burst and Spook for special stat priority moves. Those are both 45 and 50 base power priority moves for special attack. And then Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch are, of course, physical priority moves. And you also have First Impression, technically, which could be a situational thing via TM. And also, yes, as you can see, he has an absolutely behemoth TM pool. Which, he already had a lot of these already, to be honest, but I just gave him a lot of fitting stuff, or stuff that he had in other games or other generations, and then a couple of other really cool fitting things. Awesome coverage moves, all kinds of, really good utility here. We'll talk about it, especially like Prankster Parting Shot and shit is incredible. Prankster Dual Screens, Prankster T-Spikes, Prankster Will-O-Wisp, all that great stuff, which I will get into more detail. I think you also have great setup, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, and Calm Mind, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, base Sableye has great stat boost overall. The line as a whole has 60 base HP because they are still this tiny little gremlin fucker. Like, they're a little small baby gremlin. So, high HP does not fit them at all, but 60 base HP, just a slight boost there. It's pretty sizable. And then the base Sableye has much better stats across the board. So, first of all, it's a much faster Pokemon. Speed tiers in this hack are laid out. Also, another thing you need to keep in mind if you're new here, by the way, basically every single move is changed or buffed, and there's 130 plus new moves. So I would just check those out in the description down below. It's all laid out for you. There's a link to the Google Sheets, and you can see all these changes for yourself and look at everything yourself. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But yeah, you can also join my Discord server in the description, but I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. 95 speed is great. Nothing too insane, but it's a solid speed tier, especially when it gets priority moves and stuff already. So you don't even really need to worry about your speed. You can just run like Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, Tinted Lens, or same thing with Nasty Plot and Spook and Night Burst or whatever, whatever it may be. Technically, in this case, Dark moves would be better than Ghost moves because Ghost moves have an immunity, although in general, Ghost moves are better coverage than Dark moves, just in terms of what they hit and what resist them. But with Tinted Lens, Dark moves are actually better, so because nothing is immune to Dark, so yeah. So you're going to be better off with Sucker Punch and Night Burst if you're running Tinted. And also, another thing you need to keep in mind in this hack is that you do have access to infinite usability capsules, okay? Again, if you want to see what any of these new abilities or moves do, you can click that link in the Google Sheets and check all of this out for yourself. There's a very detailed move sheet here, as you can see. It has all the moves here. All of them are all very listed out and easy to consume. There's a lot of them, so it might look overwhelming, but it's not as bad as you might think. Yeah, and then all the abilities have their own little sheet. Everything is dedicated. Everything is very laid out, so you can totally just check that out. But Mega Sableye has so much cool stuff. Base Sableye, again, has very good stats all around, 95 in both offenses because it is a little ghost guy, and he has very hard claws, the deck says, I believe. Like, he bites through rocks and shit, so Yeah, like he digs to the ground with his hard claws and crunches down gems with his thick pointy teeth. In fact, I actually had Tough Claws Prankster at one point on Sableye. However, I opted to give him Tinted Lens instead because there's another Dark Ghost type with Tough Claws, and no, it's obviously not Spiritomb, so you can assume it's going to be the new Dark Ghost Dark Pokemon. Another hint, it's in Hoenn, and we're getting up to it really soon, so you guys can probably put two and two together and figure out what it is by now. So regardless, so Tinted Lens is fucking amazing. I love Tinted Lens. What an awesome ability, super strong. I mean, even just specs or CB tinted, like Choice Band, Sucker Punch, Tinted Lens, like that just kills things for free. Like you can just click that button and it's so brainless. I love it. And it also frees up move slots or coverage because yes, you do have an incredible coverage arsenal. And in this ROM hack, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, infinite EV training items, and infinite, TM and tutors. So what you should be doing is you should be swapping between these. So, tutors cost 1 BP. I recommend just hacking a 999 instead of Bandhine surfing for 20 hours straight because that would not be fun. I won't judge you if you hack those in. But yeah, infinite BP essentially, 1 BP for each move. Free TMs, all the TMs are available very early on for the most part. Obviously they are balanced, like I'm not going to give you swords at the beginning of the game or anything, or fucking Focus Blast, whatever. But, all the TMs are available for the main game. This is not a video about that though. Hopefully you already know all this stuff if you're watching this, I hope. But if you're not, then check out the sheets below. It'll help with understanding things. Yeah, good offenses, also good bulk, 60, 85, 95. Not anything insane because, again, it does have Prankster. So Sableye is great. Prankster options for Sableye are incredible. So you have stuff like Parting Shot, Reflect Light Screen, Toxic Spikes. You also have stat dropping moves, which are incredible. So Torment is great with Prankster. In-game, of course, the competitive is not that good, but in-game it's incredible because, again, the AI does not switch out. They only switch out with moves that make you switch out for the most part. So while those are a lot more common now, it's still a pretty safe bet to torment the opponent, and then you can protect, and you can essentially disable that move for the rest of the fight if you play your cards right. So torment is great. Leer drops defense by 2. Oh, actually, no, I changed it. Excuse me. Leer is actually -1 to both defensive stats now instead of -2 defense. So Leer is -1 to both defenses, which is very good for Prankster. Scary Face. Oh, another thing is that Sableye does have reliable recovery, not only in recover, but also Soul Absorb. Soul Absorb works like a Nightshade, so it does the damage equal to your level still. However, you also heal damage equal to your level. So a level 100 Sableye heals 100 HP and deals 100 HP at the same time. It's a great option for Mega Sableye because of how, well, he's very strong actually, 100, 115 offenses, but you can run max HP, max defense, or special defense and switch between your EVs depending on the boss fight, and then just run Soul Absorb and just be a tanky ass utility motherfucker with all of these utility moves. You don't need to run any offensive moves other than Soul Absorb if you don't want to. You could just run Soul Absorb plus 3 utility moves plus max HP plus Spit Effort, physical defense, and in this hack you do have infinite EV training items, so you can switch your EVs around. That's why mixed attackers are very good in this hack, because you can actually tailor your moveset for the boss fight. Say you hit this Pokemon's team, this trainer's team harder with physical moves. Okay, run physical. Next fight special. Next fight physical. Next fight utility. Next fight support. Whatever, and maybe next fight fully defensive. It really just depends on the situation. It's a very versatile Pokemon, and you really like to see that. He has tons of awesome moves. It's gonna be a little bit of a longer video because I have to get through a lot of stuff. But I haven't even mentioned Energy Shield yet. Holy shit, I'm sorry. So Mega Sableye obviously is incredible. Okay, 61, 65 in both. Only 1 weakness. Not the greatest resistances actually. Ghost Dark only has 1 resistance to poison, so it's not as good of a type as people make it think. It's kind of like resistances are more important than weaknesses for defensive Pokemon, especially. Honestly, having very little weaknesses is good. Only 1 to Fairy, but it's not. I would honestly low-key rather be weak to more than 1 type if I could have more resistances in this case. But 2 immunities is good. 3 actually, excuse me, Psychic, Normal, and Fighting. And then you also have a resistance to Poison, which is solid. But Mega Sableye, it doesn't fucking matter if you have no resistances. Very few resistances, because you have 165 in both defenses and Energy Shield. And what Energy Shield is, it's essentially multi-scale, okay? It works like multi-scale. It comes from Shadow Shield, so not even Mold Breaker Pokemon can bypass that. It's just, if you're full HP, you take half damage, all right? That's incredible for stuff like Calm Mind and for Nasty Plot and all that shit. You can also use Swords Dance with Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch on Mega Sableye, or Nasty Plot with, your special priority moves, and you can get that priority, that status move off very easily because of your... Message me, sorry. With your, God, hold on, whatever. I lost my train of thought now. Energy Shield, all right, incredible ability. You would be swapping between them because the advantage. So you might be thinking, well, Magic Bounce is kind of situational. It is, sure, but you have Prankster before you Mega Evolve, so you can do the same thing maybe Mega Sableye used to do: abuse Prankster, then Mega Evolve and get Magic Bounce once they use a status move on you. Magic Bounce is extremely good in this hack because a lot of trainers have Taunt to make it so that you can't get setup moves off as easily because setup is broken. I also nerfed the PP of all setup moves and stuff to make it a little bit less broken in game because, again, it's very broken in game. If you can get the right matchup, you can just win the fight automatically. You can still do that. It just takes more setup and more skill now. And there's a lot of other ways to bypass setup, like Whirlwind and Roar are priority moves that are 1 PP. But the beautiful thing about Magic Bounce Mega Sableye is he doesn't give a fuck about that. The only way you can phase him out is with Dragon Tail. The AI can phase him out, and the only way they can drop his stats is with Topsy Turvy, or Haze, or Clear Smog, or other moves like that, or Heart Swap, etc. Stuff like that, which is widely distributed and will show up every once in a while, but you know, Whirlwind and Roar are the more common ones that I give to trainers probably, and being immune to that is incredible. So that's awesome. I mean, Magic, you know, switch it. You can also just switch it in on, like, you know, Pokemon's going to use Battle Cry, which is a move that drops attack stats by 2, and like a lot of Pokemon have that. Switch it in, boom. Now they have -2 offenses. You know, it's such a good ability, man. Definitely don't sleep on Magic Bounce, Prankster into Magic Bounce especially. Again, you can get that Will-O-Wisp, Prankster, then you Mega Evolve, get Magic Bounce, that kind of deal. It's really great. Topsy Turvy is incredible on Mega Sableye, and Sableye in general. That's an awesome move for totems, especially you reverse their stats boosts. It's also just good to, you know, stop sweeps in general, also for trainers to abuse against you. Say that, you know, they're getting swept, okay, now they click Topsy Turvy. Or they also have Spectral Thief, which is a 95 base power ghost move that steals boosts. Mega Sableye's Power Trick, which is really cool and funny. I just think that's really funny because 165, you'll basically have 60, 100, 165 bulk, but you can actually do Power Trick, and then you can click Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak and stuff with Mega Sableye. It's not that good, but, you know, with Energy Shield it's very good actually because you can essentially get that up for free. But Swords Dance is right there, so I don't know why you would, but, you know, it's just kind of funny. Maybe if like they have Unaware or something, it's situational, but it's cool. What else is there? Tons of awesome, powerful stab options. Again, check out what all those do in the description down below, but stuff like Infernal Parade, Twilight Cannon, Shadow Force, all those moves are very strong. How you Payback. I'm not going to cover nitty-gritty of what all those do, but Payback is really good on Mega Sableye because it's negative priority, 120 base power. Glare is buffed. This gives priority. It's priority, and it's, well, it doesn't matter about Prankster, but you can use that on Tinted Lens sets. Sorry, it's not priority. What the fuck am I saying? It's priority with Prankster. It's not priority. Don't listen to me. Well, basically, it drops both the opponent's attacking stats by 1, and then it paralyzes. So it's a buff, you know, over Thunder Wave. Nuzzle and Glare both are the same move in that regard. You know, you got good coverage. All, you know, literally every element you have coverage for on both sides. So that's awesome. Don't even like. It doesn't matter. I don't have to go into the nitty-gritty of all these moves, but yes, there's a lot of great moves in this TM pool that are very, very important. You know, even like Priority Acid Reflex that drops the death by 4 and poisons. You know, again, Iron Defense, Prankster Iron Defense is incredible on base Sableye. That's really good with Recover and stuff, or Soul Absorb. Soul Absorb is arguably better than Recover. You heal less, but you deal a lot of damage, so it's up to you which one you want to use between those two. I would low-key prefer Soul Absorb, but Recover is also very, very good, especially because Soul Absorb is not Prankster, while Recover is Prankster, so actually low-key Recover is better still, but only 5 PP. I believe Soul Absorb might only have 5 as well, I forget, but yeah. Doom Desire is really cool with Tinted Lens. You can use Specs Doom Desire Tinted Lens, which is essentially 160 base power Future Sight, but it's Dark type instead now. So a lot of special Dark types get that, and that's sick because you can, you know, get that Specs Tinted Lens, 160 base power stat, move off. You can then Parting Shut Out the next turn, you know, drop the opponent's stats, and then go into your ally. And then on that next turn, then they'll take the damage. It's super sick, super, super good combo. Definitely take advantage of that. Very big sleeper pick right there. Again, Tinted Lens is great for offensive sets. You should be switching between your abilities. It's not just, oh, I'm going to use Prankster all the time. Unless you want to. You know, play how you want, man. If you want to go ahead and, you know, go in completely blind and just play how you want to, that's totally fine. But for the more strategic people who like to prepare and be strategic with their stuff, then, you know, switch between your abilities. You can abuse them in different situations. It's really, really cool. I love Mega Sableye and base Sableye. They're so cool now. I love these buffs. Another really cool thing that Sableye itself can do is it can use Z Spectrify with Tinted Lens or Prankster. So Spectrify works like Trick or Treat. It makes the opponent, or rather it adds the ghost typing to the opponent's typing, which is not the main effect of the move, although that is pretty useful. It makes them weak to ghost if they're not resistant or immune to ghost, which is pretty cool. But the main effect of that is that the Z effect will give you +1 to all of Sableye's stats. So 95 speed at +1, 95 speed F at +1. You know, all your stats are very good at +1. It's really good. It's really fast, really bulky, and really strong. And of course, at the lowest 70 for a reason. You only will have that for like Hapu, Gladion in the league, and like, you know, Victory Road and shit, or Mount Lanakila in this case, and then all the post game, which is great. You can Spectrify and win a lot of fights because you have Tinted Lens. With Tinted Lens, you can run Power Trip or Stored Power, depending on if you want to run Special or Physical. Although Power Trip is stab, so I would probably recommend that for Tinted Lens sets. Otherwise, you might want to run like Stored Power. You could even honestly run both. Who cares? You know, basically, Stored Power and Power Trip are both buffed in that they give you +1 attack or special attack, but they only have 3 PP. However, that's plenty of PP. So you can use Tinted Lens, Spectrify, then you can click Power Trip and just go to town. You'll have 120 base Power Trip with Tinted Lens and +1 attack and +1 speed and +1 defense, and then you can click, you know, Drain Punch or Giga Drain or Soul Absorb or Recover, or any other of these healing moves and heal yourself up. Also, stuff like Mirror Coat is great. And again, Energy Shield works like multi-scale, so you can abuse Tinted Lens. You know, maybe you can Sucker Punch Tinted Lens or something, or whatever you want to do, and then Mega Evolve and get Energy Shield when they're going to attack you, potentially. Although that's a little bit more situational. It's mostly just Prankster into Magic Bounce or Energy Shield. So you essentially have 2 abilities on Mega Sableye with the Magic Bounce slot, which is why it's better than Energy Shield in some cases. Otherwise, Energy Shield would just be better because Multi-Scale is an incredible ability, obviously. But Multi-Scale is sick on Mega Sableye. Obviously, functionally, it's called Energy Shield, and that's what I'm going to call it from now on. But and it didn't replace Multi-Scale, by the way. It replaced Shadow Shield, so don't worry about that. Such a sick move. I love it, man. It's such a sick ability, I mean, for him. Again, yes, it's incredibly tanky. 165 both defenses, Ghost Archetype, recovery moves, all that shit. Yeah, it might sound busted, but the power levels in this hack are so high. You're going to need bulky mods like this. Like, it's really necessary, honestly. Otherwise, it would just be all hyper offense, and that's not fun. Although Mega Sableye it's fun, actually. Excuse me, it is fun. And also, hyper offense in game is a much different thing than hyper offense in competitive, but hell? Sorry, everybody. Okay, I'm gonna leave this video off now, actually, because that. What the fuck? I don't know what's going on. Alright, I'm probably gonna end this off here, honestly. I'll talk about a few more things quickly. Sorry, I just heard people outside. Fuck. Conjure's good. That's like a combination between Bullcup and Calm Mind. Conjure gives you +1 special attack, +1 defense, so that's great. A Mirror Coat is great with Energy Shield, or with Magic Bounce, or with base Sableye. It's a good move regardless. Doom Desire is sick. Tons of powerful stab moves. Again, that sort of power set is sick. Also, Trick Room is great on it because of Energy Shield, or with Magic Bounce. Whatever you want to do. Trick Room is great regardless. Trick Room is great because it's not a TM anymore, so... Well, actually, I don't think it was ever a TM in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, low-key. I forget if it was. Doesn't matter though. But yeah, you have tons of other great utility moves. You can see them all here, so super sick mod. You'd love to see it. Even just Prankster Screens is just always good, you know. Prankster Screens like Clay. Prankster Screens like Clay plus Parting Shot. Like, think about that. It's insane. There's other mons that get that. A lot of other mons, actually, most Prankster mons will be getting that for the most part. So, you know, in game that just makes it a more viable choice, you know, for you if you want to use it. Or if you get it in Nuzlocke, then it's a cool full mon to use. Yeah, Sableye here, super great buffs. Again, base Sableye is not outclassed by Mega. They are different Pokemon essentially. Base Sableye can hold an item, Mega Sableye cannot. Base Sableye has good speed, Mega Sableye doesn't. Base Sableye is kind of bulky, Mega Sableye is extremely tanky. Base Sableye is more offensive, despite having lower offensive stats, that kind of thing. So. Really just depends on what you need for that situation. It will be available probably in 10 Carat Hill still, so you can use this for Akala Island Sableye, which will be very good for Akala. For all the totems, really, it's good. Just for utility, you know, Prankster, Parting Shot, Prankster, Confide. Yeah, I didn't finish covering those. Yeah, so Leer, -1 both defenses, Scary Face, -1 attack, -2 speed, and it inflicts Nightmare, which is not relevant in this case. Confide, special attack, -1 special attack, -1 special defense. Glare is great, I already covered that. There's tons of awesome shit here, okay? You can see it all. Check it all in the description down below. There's also Mineral Shower and Twilight Cannon, which are moves that drop your special attack step by 2. And are moves like that work that way. It's really great. Like Draco Meteor, also Hyper Beam and Giga Impact do the same thing if you're new here, so check all that stuff out in the description down below. Sorry, I'm like whispering, I just wanna, yeah. It's really bad anyways. I think I covered everything pretty thoroughly. There's a couple more things I could talk about, but I'll leave it off here and let you figure out the rest for yourself. Yeah, super sick changes here. You'd love to see it. Really happy with them. Hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you for listening. All I ask in return is that you do subscribe if you listen this far. That would be very helpful for me. Also, leave a like and a comment in this video. That would be helpful for the algorithm. Get my videos boosted and recommended to more people. You can also join my Discord server. Again, changes to the Google Sheet are in the description down below, as well as my Discord server. So consider joining that if you want. Yeah, thank you and goodbye.